We also have this one, we also have this one, we also have this one. That's what I used to build this. So I didn't even do much. I just took it and added it here so that you can scroll. So that's how the app looks like. So I think those are the basic. I'm going to put it down after the class. I'll put it on Slack so that everybody knows what we are doing. Okay. So the assignment is piling up and I hope we finish it before. I won't be with you people next week. So upper week, hopefully people should have finished it. All right. So from what I gathered, most people did not finish their own because they were waiting for the recording, and I heard that it's going to be out today. So, and I'm sure this one too will be out today. So I'm going to do that design, that short one that I just showed, so that while watching the recording, you can also work on your design. So let's continue. Today we're supposed to do a recap of the last class. We are going to do that after we finish looking at these other things. Then we'll do the recap of that class. I'll try and do one design to show how easy it is to work on. Then we'll look at understanding the visual design principles. We'll also look at the grid system. We'll look at interactive prototyping. We'll also look at low and high fidelity prototype. Then we'll look at usability testing. Then we'll call it a night. Then we'll do some practicals, then we'll call it a night. So we're supposed to do this, but that will be after we finish learning all these other ones. So visual design principles. What actually makes a good design? Design is the beauty of a product. The beauty of a design can draw the viewers in and can retain some attention. So when you see a design that is very beautiful, you see an app that is very appealing. Look at it and say, let me see what is so special about this app that's looking fine like this. So that's one thing about your design being very appealing to the eyes. So this aspect we're learning is the UI design, user interface. So in as much as you want your product to solve problem, and in as much as you want your product to solve problem, which is the UX design, you also want the product to be beautiful in the eyes. That is, every color that you are adding to it should make sense. It should not be too colorful. Should not be too bogus in color. The spacing shouldn't be too bogus. Everything needs to be well spaced, lines to be well proportioned, just like what we are doing. So we are doing that. We are using Access Bank so that we can also learn how to create amazing design. So that's why I even went straight into that. So design is the beauty of a product. If your product is not looking fine, sometimes it may discourage viewers from viewing it. But eventually, the main purpose of design is to solve problems, okay? Which is where UX designers come in. We want to be able to solve a problem. We want to be able to have a product that is a must to have, not a nice to have, because there's a difference between must to have and nice to have. A must to have is like, if I don't use this product, I'm doomed. Like, I really need it. It's compulsory I use this product. A nice to have is, well, if I don't use it, there's nothing there. I won't even miss the product. I don't think I need it like that. But it's a nice to have, sure. So that's just the difference between must to have and nice to have. So UX designers are interested in solving problems. Your design has to solve a problem. Your design has to be important. It has to solve a problem. It has to be enjoyable. It has to be equitable. That's the beginning of the class. I think I don't know if I really touched on that. Your product has to be usable. It has to be equitable. It has to be enjoyable. And it has to be useful. So when you talk about usability, it means the design of the product needs to be clear to everyone. Everyone needs to be able to understand your design. If someone picks up your design and is looking hard to understand, like people are struggling to find where the home button is, or looking at the icon does not even relate and look like the regular menu icon, then that's the problem. And so your design is usable when it's clear to everyone, okay, and it's easy to use. Secondly, your design has to be equitable. I think I had to go over this because I don't know if I was not the one that taught the first class, so I didn't really go through this. So your design is equitable. It means your designs are useful and marketable for people with diverse ability. That's your design, every person with diverse ability, meaning someone that is blind should be able to know how to use your design. You also fathom them inside your design. Someone that is deaf should be able to know how to use it. Someone that is dumb should be able to know how to use it. Okay? Everything has to be clear. So when I trained as a UX designer, we were taught on accessibility. Your design has to be accessible to all. So even if the person is blind, there should be a button where there's a sound that is speaking, directing the person on what next to do. If the person is dumb, there should be much writing so that the person can be able to read it. Okay. So everything equitable means your design is marketable for everybody, not only people that are normal, or I mean people that don't have any physical challenge. Then your design also has to be enjoyable. If your design is enjoyable, it means there's a positive connection between the user and the product. So I'm using the product, I'm using this Access Bank product and I'm enjoying it. I go to buy something in market and I want to transfer money to somebody, the market owner, and I can do it with ease without having to struggle to find where's transfer button. So I can easily do it. Just try and transfer money to the seller immediately. So then your design also has to be useful. Useful is the last one, which means it has to solve problem. So that's what we should always take note of design. But when it comes to UI design is the beauty of a product. Even when your product is beautiful, it also has to be appealing in the eyes so that people can relate with your product effectively and they can be happy using your product. Okay. So there are some principles of design that we're going to be looking at. The first one is balance, second is scale, third is contrast, fourth is visual hierarchy, fifth is emphasis. Okay, so we're looking at them one after the other. Before we go on, why is this class scanty? Is it that people are not aware that there is a class? They're just 11. Anyway, I hope they watch the recording and so the first one is balance. So balance shows us if the design is symmetrical or asymmetrical. Wait though. Am I still sharing my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Check. Sorry, hold on. Give me a minute. Sorry, I'll be with you shortly. Thank you. Okay, so balance is how the elements within composition are arranged. So it can be either arranged symmetrically or asymmetrically or radially to create the impression of equality. So if you look at this, our image here, you see that this balance, this symmetrical balance, everything is well proportioned, while this one is not as proportioned as the first one. So in designing, you have to take note of that. This now looks like in a newspaper. When you look at newspaper, you see how they used to proportion their positioning everything. The image has to be in one place and the write-up has to be in one place. So that is about balance. Sometimes the image is somewhere and the write-up is in another place. So it can be either symmetrical or asymmetrical. So in design, you have to also take note of those balance. Your shapes has to be in the right proportion. So where your image is and your text is, it has to, match. So your text cannot be in one place and the image that you're trying to direct us to is in another place. So everything has to be well proportioned. Okay. So, sorry. Then the other one is scale. So scale creates emphasis, drama, and adds hierarchy in a design. So if you look at this, the first one, you see that the first one is marked good, the second one is cancelled. So sometimes one button might be bigger than the other, or one image might be bigger than the other, just to show emphasis. For instance, now I want to, I'm designing now, and the shapes that I'm putting are all the same size, the same. But don't get me wrong, sometimes when you are trying to, maybe like an e-commerce website, and you're trying to put in the goods or what they are to sell, sometimes they're in one place and you can scroll and check for the goods you want to buy or the wares you want to buy. But sometimes one shape or one image can be larger than the other. So this is just for emphasis sake. So one image that is larger is for you to notice the image. So the first image can just come out very bold on the screen that you are moving to. It's trying to tell you more about that page that you scrolled to. Okay. Another one might not be so important, but that big one that is showing there can then tell you what the other one is talking about. Okay. So that's one thing with scale. Scale is how big or small something is. Okay, scale affects how something is balanced. So sometimes the phrase the bigger is better is not always the case in design. So sometimes tiny elements can call attention just as effectively as something large. So when you see the design where the button is red and it's called delete, automatically you understand that it's delete, so it's danger. Normally red color is always danger. So when you see a button, it might just be one small button, but you can understand that this button, if I click on it, is either I'm ending or I'm logging out or something. Okay, is the message you are trying to convey with a design. So that's one thing with scale. In other words, when you use this scale principle properly, the most important elements in that design, they are usually bigger than the less important ones. Okay, so the reason behind this principle is that when something is big, it's more likely to be noticed. That's why sometimes we put a text. The text is very bold, just to catch your attention, so that you continue reading. It's just like in newspaper, they put the bold headline. They want to catch your attention. That's why they always put that. Okay, but sometimes the other smaller one, it's not that that smaller one is not important, but that bold one has captured your attention more. So scale creates emphasis, drama, and adds hierarchy to a design. Then there's another one that is contrast, color contrast. Color contrast, very important. When you have something like, oh, maybe someone has to click something and it's going to show, oh, successful, go to home. That's successful. The color has to be very sharp, maybe like green, to show that, yes, you have done this part successfully. Then when it's red, it shows that there's something else missing. You need to go back and correct maybe your details. If it's green, you know that it's successful. So color contrast is important when you are designing. Then also size contrast, that contrast is also important when you are designing. Okay. So when you look at something that makes your eyes hot, maybe like a menu bar that has a red background but yellow type. Okay, that contrast is too sharp. Have sharp yellow, you have sharp red. That thing affect the eyes of your users. Okay. So that one, the cause of that is from lack of contrast or arrangement of opposite elements, okay, both in size and in color. So for example, red is frequently used in UI design, especially in iOS, to signify deleting. So the bright color signals that a red element is different from the rest, okay? So you have to take note of this when you are designing. Then example of visual hierarchy, you can see it here. This one now, this one, the image is here, then the smaller images to support these bigger images here, then the text is here. Then this one, they just put the image, the bigger image, then put the bold headline, then the text. Then the other one, they put the headline on the side, big image and text. The other one, the headline is just moderately written, big image, text, and some other supporting images. So that's what you're going to be seeing when you pick a magazine or you pick a newspaper, even in your designs. Okay, there's always a bigger image to show that, okay, this is what this is what this screen is talking about. Then there's usually a smaller images to support that bigger one. So that even while you are looking at it, you're having a good experience, you are looking at it, you understand that these smaller images to support this bigger image. So it just helps you understand what the design is talking about. Then emphasis by color contrast. Now, if you look at this here, you see green colors. Everywhere is green, but there's a red one here. It shows that there's something that the designer wants you to notice here. Okay. If he didn't put this, everything will just be normal. Everything will just be similar. But him putting red here is showing you that he wants you to notice something. It's for emphasis sake. Okay. So that is about contrast, visual design principles. Okay. So we have the balance, we have the scale, we have the contrast, we have the visual hierarchy, and we have the emphasis. So you understand better when you start designing. It will come to play, everything will come to play when you are designing. So you know when to put an image to be bold, and you know when to put a smaller image to support the big one. So you understand it better when you are designing. That's why I always say UI UX design is more of a practical thing than just a theory. So it might not make sense when you are just in a class learning, but when you go into the field, you understand it better. So then there's another one we call the grid system. Okay, I know we've not used this, I've not introduced this in our Figma. So grid helps to provide a consistent experience across multiple devices with different screen sizes. So the grid system helps align page elements based on sequenced columns and rows. So this is what a grid looks like. In your screen on Figma, you see there's something we call, there's a grid system there. It just helps you to be able to, for your spacing and your lines to be appropriate. So some people are not really good with using their eyes to create space and everything to be well proportioned. So grid system will help you. So you know that when you write, when you type home here, you know that the next place you are going to type, you're going to count 1, 2, and write the other one. And count 1, 2. It just helps your work to be aligned. And when you finish using your grid system and you remove the grid, you see that your work is neat. So me, I don't really use grid system. I think when I started designing, I was using it. But because I've been able to gauge my eyes and understand and make use of those lines that always pop up, those grid lines that always pops up. So it just helps me to know when this space is bigger than the other space instead of it to be equal. So I'm able to know. But this bridge system helps a lot. Most people, even the most experienced one, they still use it just so that their design comes out well. And we're going to be also looking at it when we start practicalizing. Please, are we in this class? If I'm not talking to myself. Say hi
Yeah,
now.
here.
That's it. Okay, yeah, thank you. Animonure. So I think that's about the grid system. Then prototyping is the interactivity of a product which demonstrates functionality. Okay, when I mean interactivity, when I open the screen of the access bank that we're designing, you were able to see how one screen is moving to the other screen and how in a screen we're able to scroll horizontally, scroll vertically. So that shows that the product is now interactive. Then in our last class, we looked at mock-up. Mock-up is static, okay? The design is fine, but it's just static. It's in one place. You've been able to design it, but it's not moving. It's just in one place. But when you now add interactivity to a design, that's when we now have prototype. Okay, prototyping is the interactivity of the product, which demonstrates functionality. So it shows that your product is functional. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So when the way you have high fidelity wireframe and low fidelity, you also have that in prototype. So it's not until your product is now so perfect that you now say, okay, that I can now, maybe your product, the colors and everything are in place. That's when you now say you can prototype. So in your low fidelity prototype, your design, you can also prototype it with your design in black and white. Maybe for quick testing, you just want to test if it's something that is useful. Maybe you're trying to showcase your designs to your clients. Maybe the first stage of your ideation, and trying to show the client that, okay, oh, this is what we came up with, and this is what we're trying to do for you. Okay. Then high fidelity prototype is like you're prototyping the mock-up. The design is already in the perfect stage and you are prototyping it. Okay, so that's high fidelity. When the design is already matching the look and feel of the final product, then you now add interaction to it. So that's when that is high fidelity prototype. Okay. So that's the difference between high fidelity and low fidelity prototype. So with that, my prototype I did on the Figma page, then I can also make it interactive as well. It's just to test. So this is what a low fidelity and a high fidelity prototype looks like. This one here is still black and white, and it can be interactive. Then this is the actual thing. This is what it looks like. And it's also interactive. So then what to take note of when prototyping? The first one is hotspots. That's where the user's interaction will take place. So that hotspot is where you're going to see a circle with a plus in it. So that's what will help you to drag it to the other screen. That's what will help you to connect screens together. Then the next one is connection. So that's the arrow or noodle. They say it looks like noodle that connects the hotspot to the destination. So when you get the hotspot, you drag it to the other screen, which is the destination. That's the connection. Then the destination is where the connection ends. So when you click on it, you see that it's connected. And you can only connect things together when it's in a frame. Okay, if it's outside the frame, you might struggle to be able to connect it together. Okay, you will see all this when we are prototyping now. So this is a sample of what a prototyping look like. Sometimes it might not make sense, but by the time you connect one screen to the other one to the other, to the other one like that, you'll be able to, you'll be seeing designs like this. So sometimes the screens are so many and you just the same wire moving up and down. So the steps to create a high fidelity prototype in Figma. The first step is lay out the mock-up. So put all your mock-up, arrange it well. Everything should be well laid out. Second is to connect the screens together. So start connecting the screen using your hotspot, taking note of your hotspots, your connection, and your destination. You connect the screen. Then the third one, you add interaction details. So that interaction details is like, maybe you want, when I click on this button, it should slide in, or it should move up, or it should come from up or come from down. So those are the details. You're going to also be saying that. Then the fourth one is adjust the animation. So you can adjust it so that it looks better and finer when your viewers are using it. Then the fifth one is complete for all screens. So you complete it for all the screens. Okay. Then you now share your work, which is where you now present to start viewing how it looks like. Okay. Then the next thing we're going to be looking at is usability testing. So usability testing is the practice of how easy a design is to use with a group of representative users. So, for instance, you finish doing a design and you want to practice, you want to test your work. So I showed you people the last time where you click on present to show how your work looks like. So you can copy the link and give some group of people to help you test if this works or not. So whenever you run a usability test, your main objectives are to, one, determine whether the testers can complete a task successfully. Meaning when the person is testing your product, you want to know if the person can click here, and is able to complete a task without asking your work is on point. Okay. So I'm going to repeat again for people that didn't get it. Usability testing is the practice of testing how easy a design is to use with a group of representative users. So the second one is assessing their performance. So after you're able to determine whether a tester can complete a task successfully, the second one is you can now assess their performance and mental states when trying to complete a task. So there's something called moderated test. You'll see that in the next one. So you can now, maybe the person can record himself struggling to complete a task, or record himself enjoying using your product. So that will help you to know if you need to rework on your design. Okay. The third one is see how much users enjoy. Hello, who is entering our design? Who is entering our recording? So the third one is see how much users enjoy using it. Do they enjoy using your design, or are they struggling? That's what you check for. Aside checking whether they can complete the task successfully, also check if they enjoy using it. And also identify problems and their severity. Check if they complain of a problem and how severe is the problem, so that you can fix it before it even goes live. Then you find solution to it. Okay. So we have two types of usability testing methods. We have the first one, which is moderated usability testing. We have the second one, unmoderated usability testing. So if you look at what is going on here, there's a woman here sitting down. This is a moderated usability testing, and the tester is beside her, trying to navigate the product to see if it's easy to use. Okay, and she can also guide the participant through the study in the real time. So the moderator's goal here is to help participants interact with the product and collect feedback along the way. So this one also has its downside. When somebody is there to moderate and watch you, you will not want to offend the person. Sometimes some people are very blunt. They will tell you, see, this design, I don't understand it. Why some people, they may not want to offend you. They say, oh, the design is nice. It's fine. It's fine. It's okay. But in their mind, they know that there's something wrong with it, especially when you use a very close friend. I don't want to hurt you. The unmoderated usability testing here, participants will test out the prototypes without any guidance. Okay, that one is usually the study. Usually the study is recorded. So you will record yourself using the product, okay, on video, and then the UX teams will review the video to see if the person using it encountered challenges when using the product. Okay, so that's unmoderated usability testing. One is that you are there with the person to watch it, the person, to guide the person through the testing phase. The second one is that you are not there with the person, but the person is recording, so you can easily notice the struggle the person is having. So those are the two types of usability testing method that we have. So maybe when you start designing yours or your tasks, you can also share the links with people that you believe will give you honest feedback and get their responses so that you know if you need to rework on it or you need to continue from there. So that is all we have for today. Then we just go into our designs. So in the last class, we designed these two. The first class we designed, the second class we did this. And I wanted to like take you through the process of how I was able to do some of the designs. Okay, but I will show you what a grid line looks like. So assuming you want to design, this is your frame. You pick this frame and you want to add a grid line. You come to your right-hand side. Please, are we paying attention? So you come to your right-hand side.
Yes.
Thank you. Then you click layout grid. So you can adjust the grid. So instead of 10, you can increase the grid limit to 20, or let's say 5. This is too tiny. So you can do 25. So you can adjust it to 25. And this is how you continue to work on it until you are done with the design. Let's say 15. So now, if I want to design this screen here, the first stage I will do is to sketch out. The first stage is to do my shape, right, rectangle. So I'll come and draw my rectangle like this. So you see that these grid lines are guiding me to where my rectangle will stop. So it can stop here anywhere. So it's guiding me where my rectangle is going to stop. Then also maybe I want to attach these bars. Okay. And I'm putting it here. It's going to give me a line. The lines are going to guide me into where my grids, my bars are going to start and where it's going to stop. Okay. So it just makes your work to be neater. By the time you remove the grid, you're able to see your work clearly and correctly. Okay. So let me don't mind the lines. By the time you put it off, you cannot see your work. You continue again, put it on and continue. It just guides you. For instance, now this place that we have profile, okay? This place that we have profile, it will help you to be able to position your profile well, and you can easily detect the middle of your profile here. You know that when I count, my profile is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. After the sixth box, I can include my profile here, okay? Then your image, you know that the image, I'm going to put it, I will count 2 lines, 2 columns, is it columns now or row? 1, 2, then I cannot add my image. So my image will now be, it will not just be immediately under, but I will count 2. So it's going to be directly under. So that's just what grid lines help you to do. It just helps you to, for your spacing to be right, okay? But when you are already a guru, a pro, you might not need it. You might not need a grid line and all of that, okay? But for now, I think it's important. Okay. So I'll be teaching you also how to be able to include this image, okay? This image inside the circle. I don't know if you know how to do that. So first off, you get an image, your image that you want to use. Try and get an image, your image of yourself or any other. If you don't want to use your face, you can pick any other image that you like, you want to use. Maybe your passport or something. So this is the one I want to use. This is for you to load. Okay. Nice review it. Then when you get your image, try and get a circle, ellipse. Draw the circle, perfect circle, remember, to cover the image. Okay. So you see that the circle is on top of the image. Try and take the circle behind. So send to back. Okay. Then select your image and the circle. Can't find the circle again. So select your image and the circle alongside each other. Right click, use as max, simple as ABC. I'll go over it again. Please hope we're learning. Get an image. Get an image, get a circle. Let's even paint it so that we can know that it's white in here. Get an image, get a circle. Take your circle, let it be behind the image. Okay, adjust it very well. You can first adjust it on it before you send it to back. Okay. So everything is looking perfect. You can make the circle smaller depending on how you want your image to, you want the circle to capture the image. Okay, so then you've clicked on the circle. You can highlight them if you can't find the circle because it's behind now. So highlight them together like this. Right click, use as a mask. So automatically you get this kind of image. Okay. So you can now reduce it and use it for your design. So that was how I was able to achieve that. Okay. So simple as ABC. It's not hard. Get an image, get a circle, let the circle cover the part of the image you want to be shown. Put the image and the circle at the back behind the image. Select the image and the circle together. Right click, use as marks. So you get that. So I want us to work on this. I want us to work on this. Okay, I've not put them. So let me write, let me copy this. So this now, okay. So to be able to make this thing, to be able to move horizontally, this was how I did it. So let me just delete it here so that you can learn. So what I did was I created each of these frames together, each of these screens together. Okay. Remember the first one, this was the one we did, secure the gates. Second one, I did this one. I worked on this. And how was I able to do it? Mostly the same. I just duplicated this. Then I was able to, if you look at it, the first handwriting is different from the second one. So what I did here was I increased, I gave it extra bold. Okay. Then this equals is the handwriting is 30, while this one is mixed. So some are bigger than some. This one is 40. This one is 36, which is not supposed to be so. I don't know why I did like this. Everything's supposed to be 40. But I think it was just fine in my eyes. Ah, it's too big, that's why. So this one is 36. I just worked on each of them differently. Okay. Then the equals to has 30. So everything was written in one place, but I just came. Let me try and show you what I did. Text. So I wrote soft skills equals. So this was what I now did. I increased this one. I picked them one after the other. Increase this to 40. And write it here. And this one, I gave it 36. This one, I gave it 30. So everything just looks just the way it is on the screen that I was using. Then this other one, I'll just duplicate this and delete the ones that I don't need. I don't need these ones. So this other one, I wrote easy life. So when I did that, I tried to put them here and I bent it like this so that it just looks, so that it just looks finer. Okay, I just try to bend it like this. Okay, so that's just basically what I did. Then for this one, I'm trying to do this so that we can, when we are doing ours, it will be easy for us. Then for this one, I use my pen tool to do it. I clicked on pen, then I just drew a, this was what I did so that people can learn. I did this. I try to bend it a bit. Just hold your keyboard or your mouse to just give it a bit of a curve. Then I just did like this, then like this. So because me, I still wanted to see a bit of the curve. I just curved it a bit. So that was all I did for this one. Then from there, I was able to give it a color. Remove the stroke, add color to it. So that was all I did here. Then this other one too, almost the same thing that I did. Okay. So I think you can also use this. I hope people are learning. Oh God, this class is too quiet today. Is it the rain? So I duplicated it, flip horizontally. When you flip it, you can now bring this one out. I don't think this would actually work, but you can double click on it and work on it. Draw this one down a bit and try to work on it just so that it just has that look alike, or you can sketch it from the beginning as well. So don't be scared, it's not difficult. If it's too hard, just take your pen tool and draw just normal line, do like this, and that's all. It's not hard. Okay. It's me that just like to give a bit of a touch so that it looks more finer. Then what was the next thing I did? This Utrive, you can get it on Google. If you type Utrive, let's even try it. You get the PNG version. Utrive is an Access Bank project, I guess. It's an Access Bank project that was done. So you can easily get the PNG version. So when you click on Utrive on your Google, you can easily see it. That was how I got it. I didn't design anything. Okay. And if you still see background in it, then try and remove the background. I think we've learned how to remove background. Okay. So I think this first one does not have background. So you can try and crop this president out. So just right click and copy image. So when you copy the image, come and paste it. This is what it will come out as. Then try and reduce it a bit. Okay. Crop it out. Crop this one out. You don't need this. This is only what you need. Okay, so that was how I was able to get this. I didn't do any design because that one is waste of time when you can easily access it on Google. So then you now use your text to write your buy. I think it's even this. So you don't need to use your text. Everything is here. Your own job is just to take it and attach it here. Then use your text to write with. Then write all these things here. So it's not, I don't think it's that difficult. So then I got an image using Unsplash of somebody, a man, I've forgotten how I coined it, but he just brought out this man relaxing and his laptop is on his leg. Try and explain to Unsplash what you want to see. Okay, I'm trying to see if I will get the actual English I used. So, but when you are trying to look for images on Unsplash, try and explain better what you want to see. Okay. What did I even use for mine? I can't find where I used it. But let's try. So you can say a black man with his hands on his head, maybe resting on a chair. A laptop. It's not giving me the actual results that I'm looking for. I've forgotten what I used. Something like this. Something like this can suffice, yes. Okay. So it must not be exact, but try and explain it with what you want to see. So they're giving me white man. Does this look like a black man to them? Mm. So I sure knew how I coined it. I forgotten how I was able to write it. I had to type and type to get something that looks like this. But the original image is not this. I couldn't get that. Then when you try to get that image, you also try to get all these things. You get it on Iconify. Okay, you can type hanger on Iconify and you get this. You can type code on this on Iconify, you get this. Then this one, I just do it. This time around, I use a pencil. You can click on pencil as if you are writing with your pencil and draw something like this to come out fine. Okay. So that's just basically what I did. I didn't do anything. Then this one, so I got it on Iconify. It's called camera. So you can look for the one that has color and include it. So just when you're trying to copy a design, try to think as though you are the person that did the design so that your design looks at least 90% like what you are seeing. Okay. Then the other one is this one. I just got a POS machine. I got this one on Google. Remove the background, get a access bank card, get this Wi-Fi, get it on Iconify, change the color. Sometimes always black, so you change it to green. Then get a woman that is pointing. So it's not so serious like this. Then this one, if you cannot do all this ceremony that I did, you can try to use your phone. That thing I taught you yesterday. What's the name again? It's called mockup plugins. So you can use your mockup plugins to be able to get a phone like this. So maybe what I did first was to change the color. I used this one to change the color to green just so that I can achieve this result. And as much as possible, I try to copy the design exactly so that it looks like it. So when you're copying a design, try to make sure the design looks exactly like what you are copying as much as possible. This one now, I added a circle. I put an effect on it. That's I added shadow so that it looks like this. Okay, just so that it looks exactly like this. So whenever you are giving design to copy, try and make sure when you finish your design, look at the original one, see if it actually looks like it. Okay, so that's just basically what I did. Then when I was done with that, it's 4. So when I was done with these 4 designs, what I tried to do was now to, let me delete this. Stop it. So what I now tried to do was now to have grouped everything. I picked everything individually, hold my shift, pick all of them, hold my shift, pick all of them like this, everything like that, grouped everything. So you see that even if I move it like this, everything is moving together. So after grouping them, I right-clicked and I framed the selection. So I framed every one of them. Frame, frame, and frame. Okay? So after framing all of them, everything, I now do a group framing, a general framing of everything. So aside the first step is to group everything inside each of these boxes. Everything. Second step is to frame them. And third step is to frame everything into one. So I want to put them in one single frame. Right click. So either frame it. Yeah. Click all of them one by one. Hold your shift. All of them one by one. Right click and frame them. So everything is now one. So that when I'm putting it here, then I'm putting it inside here, you can see that everything is together. Okay. Then I can now try and move this inside. Because if I don't do it like that, it will not be able to scroll horizontally and yeah, it's not going to scroll horizontally. You know the way when I had this, I'm able to scroll like this. If I don't move it like this, if I don't move it inside like this, I will not be able to scroll. It will just be in one place. So you have to like move that thing you framed so that you can achieve this. Okay. So don't be scared when you rewatch the video again and follow it step by step. You'll be able to achieve this design. Okay. I was also once like that when they are doing design. I'm saying, hey God, can I do this thing in this life? But just follow it step by step, and the more you keep practicing, the better you become. Okay. So how many of us ask question, or is it looking so hard? I think I want to hear people's voices now. Is it looking hard?
Good evening, ma.
Hi.
Please, concerning the horizontal and vertical screen of those frames, are we to place them both vertically and horizontally?
Which one? Which one are you talking about?
I mean those 4 frames that you inserted into the screen.
Okay, okay. You're asking if what?
Are we to place them both vertically and horizontally inside the frame to get the result for both vertical and horizontal scrolling?
No, just the way I did it. I think you get your result like this. Then I'm struggling to understand, but let me
Okay,
understand.
okay, now for these 4 frames now,
Yes.
you did at the beginning of the class, you made an horizontal scrolling and that of vertical scrolling.
Yes.
So I'm now asking her that are we to do like how to make these 4 frames the same thing, like how to place them both vertically and horizontally?
You just place them this 4 frame, place them horizontally, not vertically. Vertically is like they are going up. but horizontally is
Oh,
like they are scrolling like this. So
okay,
when
so
you're
that means
even,
there are okay,
that
so
means
that means
what,
there are other frames that are scrolling vertically.
yes,
Okay,
vertically is
okay, that's
when
what I
it's
get.
going, vertically is like this when it's scrolling up and down. Horizontally is like this. So
Okay, okay,
now,
okay.
when you're not done with this, when you're done with this now, you now come to your prototype, okay? This thing here, instead of no scrolling, it's going to have horizontal scrolling, okay? So that it's easy for you to be able to scroll there. See it here. When I clicked on it now, it showed that it has horizontal scrolling. So if you don't do it on your prototype, you might not achieve that result that you're looking for, okay? So I think that's basically how that works. So even when you finish doing that, when you're prototyping, click on horizontal like this, not vertical, horizontal, because you want it to scroll horizontally. You want it to achieve this so that it's scrolling like this. Okay. So I think we can even start working on prototyping. So when I talked about prototyping, I was talking about the hotspots. Okay. This is what I call the hotspots. For instance, now you want this one to connect to the others. This is the hotspot. It has a circle and a plus. Okay. So this plus, when you see this plus sign, it helps you to now connect it to the next screen. Okay. So when you connect it to the next screen, whenever you click this, this is what will appear. Okay. Then I talked about it looks like noodles. That's why they call it noodles or connection spots. Then this is destination. This is where you want it to end. Then what else do we need to? Yes. So this is what we call the connection details. Now, when I click on this, when you try to connect them, this is what is going to pop out, these details. So it's asking you, is it when you tap on it or when you click on it? Some people might see click or tap. It means when you click on it, this is what is going to come out. How do you want it to come out? Do you want it just appear? Do you want it to just be instant? Or do you want it to move in and move out? Hold on, please. Sorry. Um, so this is the connection details. And these connection details, you choose whether you want it to tap or whether you want it to hover. So sometimes when you're on a website, you realize that when you hover on something, your cursor is just on something, it's bringing out something. So it's also, this thing is going to help you to know if you want to, when you hover, this is what you are going to see, or when you press, I don't know what this one is, I've not used this. Just basically, it's just, these are basically the details that you are going to be seeing, okay? Then also, do you want it to be after delay? You know how when you click on a website and what is just going to show is the First Bank or the Access Bank logo coming up like this, boom, and before you know it, it just writes Access Bank, then it just moves straight to this home page. So that is after delay. That one you are connecting frame to frame. You're not connecting with any, the hotspot is the frame. Okay. So you can now, when you do that one, you can now set the timer. How many minutes do you want the access bank to show before it moves over to the home screen? So that one is after delay. Then after that, you will now decide if you wanted to just navigate to this one, which is what I did, navigate to this one, or do you want it to be open overlay? Open overlay is that when you click on something like a menu, something just slide in and you see the menu bar. When you cancel it, it goes out like that. So you will learn all these things, don't worry. So do you want it to be open overlay? Let me try and do one sample of open overlay so that you understand what I'm talking about. So assuming now that I have, let me try and, assuming I have this, okay, and I'm trying to write some nonsense, like, okay. So, so maybe I want this to be able to pop up here. Okay, this one does not have, okay, I want it to pop up as the notification. So it's under notification and menu that you get to see open overlay. So I'm coming here, I'm coming to group all of them together. Then I'm adding my frame. Because only when I add my frame, I can be able to open overlay. If not, it cannot work. So I go to my prototype now. So I come here. This is my hotspot. I connect it to this one. Then instead of navigate to, I use open overlay. This is what I'm going to see. It's asking me, do I want the open overlay to be, do I want the open overlay to be in the center? No, I don't want it to be in the center. I want it to be manual so that I can adjust it wherever I like. So manual, when it shows manual, this thing will now come up. The shadow image of the actual work will come up. And I'm telling it that when it comes up, I want it to show like this. Okay, so it's going to show like this. Then it's not asking me, do you want to add a background? You know, sometimes when you click on menu, the background will now be blurred, now be dark a bit. When it's dark, you now be able to see the full menu clearly. Then when you turn off the menu, you are able to see your background clearer. So I'll close. I'll also close while clicking, and then I'll also add background. Okay, so this is what I want to show for me. Then also I want to know if it's instant or move in. Then when I click on move in, it's going to show me, do you want it to move in from the side, or do you want it to move it from here, or do you want it to be come from up or come from down? So let's pick come from down. Then this is it. I've adjusted everything. So now, when, sorry, let me do this to be. So let's check what we've done so far and see where it's going to be. So we want it to be here, but it's going to come from down, right? So let's go and check what we have done now. So I think this is in the profile. So when I click on it, it's coming from down. I click out and the thing goes out. Click is coming from down. The background is a bit dark. I can increase the background to be darker. I click out just like that. So that's what we call open overlay. Okay. So, but this is not like this. This is not what we are going to put here. It's going to be better than this, of course. So, but that's just for you to know what an open overlay is. Then, so we know that this is a hotspot and all of that. So then I think we're still looking at the connection details. Yeah. So that is open overlay. Then you can also adjust the timing. If it's 300 ms, or 600? Do you want it to be slower? Do you want it to just appear fast? Okay. Some people might even want it to be instant. Don't do all these serene movements. Just be instant. Some people might want smart animate, where there's a lot of sliding in and animation there, so that it's better. Okay. So that's what we should take note of in the connection details. Okay. So I think that's basically prototyping, and there's a lot more. Prototyping is more than when you start doing that, when you start designing and prototyping, you see a lot of things. Then for that one, I said, when you have that one, I said when you click on an app and the logo just pops out and comes up like that. So it's something like, okay, let's use this one that we have. It's something like this. So let's delete this. So I don't think I want to see this. So maybe like this youth alive, at the youth tribe. And after the youth tribe, you want the next thing that will show should be this home screen. Okay. You want the next thing that will show to be this home screen. So when you click on this, so you will not now connect, you will not now click on youth tribe or whatever. What you click on is this one, prototype. Then you know that you are connecting immediately after this one shows. This is the next thing that we need to see. So you are not tapping it. It is called after delay. You are not on tapping. You are doing after delay. So do you want it to be 800 ms? Do you want it to be slower? Here now, you might use smart animate or instant or dissolve, anyone, so that it just appears, or just like that. Then when you now click on play, I don't know if it's going to answer me now. It's going to play here. Let's try. My doubts. I think it's answering. So let's try and play it again. It's too fast. So automatically, let's go and reduce the, I think that 800 is fast. So let's try 300 or 600. So I want to say it's even fast. Let me see, this one is fast. So if it's going to show you try, then it's now going to appear. So something like that. So that's what the after delay means. That's what it looks like. Okay. So you are not clicking on this one and connecting. You are clicking on the full screen, connecting it. You are not doing on tap or on click. You're doing after delay, adjusting it to be either slower or faster, so that the next thing that is going to show is going to be your home page. So that's just basically what it is. So when you keep prototyping, you'll be able to, you also discover a lot of new things that you need to know here. So do we have questions? Do we have things that you have questions? Do you have like any question or any you want to add to what we've said? Is it clear?
Yes, please. My disclaimer.
Okay. So I will need you people to, first of all, watch the recording of the last class and create this screen. This is the easiest screen to create. So yes, to add to this, let me even teach you people how I came about this. So you know how this always sticks, it doesn't move, it's always in one place. Okay, so what I did was to get the icons. When I got the icons, I included it and I now put the text home, just like that. Then I now picked the both of them together, click on this icon individually and click on this, holding my shift. Then when I did that, let me even show you what I did. So let me just undo. Let me remove. So this was what I did. So assuming this is the icon of the home, this is the home icon. Okay. This was what I did. I placed the icon here, I placed the home, and that's how I'm going to do for every other thing here. The menu, you get it from the Access Bank logo. Scan, you try and get it from Iconify and all of that. So when I put this together, I will now click on this and click on the second one. Then I right click and add auto layout. So that's what I did. Sometimes you can decide to, instead of adding auto layout, you can group or you can add frame selection, but I added auto layout. Okay. So auto layout, I really, don't worry, I'll get the definition of auto layout maybe next class and explain better. But auto layout just helps your work to be better when you're creating a responsive website. Okay, for instance, now when you have a rectangle like this, okay, you try and color it. Maybe red. Let's put okay. Then let me put text as maybe delete. So let me bring it to front. I'm just trying to show you what auto layout does to your work. So you know, normally you just have your rectangle, you have the text here, and some people might just decide to just group them together. But this is what auto layout helps you do. When you click on this text and click on the rectangle and you add auto layout to it, okay? Come here, fix width. You can be able to, it can help you reduce or increase your rectangle without stress. Everything will be increasing together. It will be increasing together. So even when you want to build a responsive websites are when you are designing for a web screen and also designing for a mobile screen, it helps you in that area. So I think developers like that because in the mobile screen, it can easily be as small as this. In the web screen, you can increase it like this. So it just helps you to be able to navigate this thing easily. Unlike when you don't add an auto layout, you're doing it one by one. Okay. So that's just basically what auto layout helps to do. So like I said, in the next class, I will explain better what it is. See this one now. So this is what I did. I was able to auto layout them and put it here, then put everything in a frame. So when I did this, everything, I now added put it in a rectangle, added all these things here. So I added everything here like this. Okay. So by the time you put everything like this, you can now add everything in a frame. Okay? You can add everything in a frame. But each of them are auto layout. This one is auto layout, this one is auto layout. You now add everything in a frame. So everything is now in one place so you can move together. Okay. So that's what I did. Who is playing music?
Holy shit. Oh, so sorry.
So when I add them in a frame, the next thing I'll do is I put them in my where I want it to be. This is where I want it to be. So if you look at this one, the iPhone 14 frame, there's still lots more things that are there. But you know, if it's like this, and you go and put this one down here, it might not show. So what we used to do is to now make it the same size as the iPhone 14 phone. Because when you click on iPhone 14, you get this exact size. So this should be at the end of the size of the iPhone 14. Okay. So when it's there, the next thing you're doing in your prototype, you are not clicking on scroll with parent. If you do scroll with parent, when you are scrolling up, this one too will follow and be scrolling. But when you do fix, stay in one place. You do fix, stay in one place, both directions, and you come to your where you want to view it. You realize that even when you are scrolling, it's in one place. Okay, it's in one place. It's not moving. It's not following the parent to scroll. But if you don't click on fix stay in one place, it's going to be as this one is scrolling up, it will also follow and scrolling. Okay, so I hope it's clear. It's like I'm bombarding you with a lot of things at the same time. So I'm not going to go too deep in depth into prototype. We still have more classes so that we can practice. Okay, so I hope we've been able to cover what we've learned in class. Then usability testing is when you are able to present it here. For instance, now I was able to present this to you and I'm able to show you this. So when you're trying to show somebody or ask someone to test your screen for you, what you can do is to now copy this, you share this, the link of this prototype, not the major, not this one, not the link of this one. You are sharing the link of this prototype. That's why it's asking share this prototype. So you can now decide that you want the person to view or you want the person to edit. The person can't even edit, so the person has to view. So you can now share, you can either put their email address, copy the link and share it. Then maybe I want the person to now help me test it. And the person is going, testing this. Okay, I can come like this. Okay, I think it's easy to learn. Then I click on this. Okay. And it's just clicking like this. I click on this. Oh, okay, I can scroll up, scroll down, delete. I've not added this interactivity. So just basically like this. So you can give somebody to test it for you, but you are going to share this prototype. You are not sharing the other one, the main, because this is what the person will be seeing and will be confused. So what you want to share is this share prototype when you present it, so that the person can test it for you. Okay. So any questions? Mhm. So I think we've come to the end of today's class so that I don't bombard you too much. We had a lot to learn today on prototyping, so that I don't bombard you people with too much, and so that the recording will be a bit short for everybody to watch and enjoy and practice as well. So your assignment is to complete the correction for this one, add this screen to it, okay? Include all these things here, then try to, if you can create another screen, fine. If not, try to prototype this screen, connect this with this, connect this with this, try and play it and see what you have done so far. Okay, so those are my feedback. Then also don't forget how we're able to achieve this.
嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯 嗯
Don't forget how we're able to achieve this. This one. Don't forget how we need to achieve the
Excuse me, please, ma'am. How am I
yes,
going to
please.
get those screenshots, ma'am?
Yes, I'll send it to the
The
Slack.
screenshots for the
Yes. So
all right.
this for this one, I will send it to this. And if you want other screenshots, maybe these ones that I did, that one that I just talked about, this horizontal scrolling, I'll also send it. And then this one, all the screenshots here, I will send it as well, so that it's easy for you to use it. All right, thank you, everyone. I think we can call it a night. Please, for your classmate that we know in class, can tell them to watch the recording and try and work on the assignment that we have. But I will share the screenshot now as I'm dropping it. All right, thanks, everyone. Thank you, Catherine. Thanks, everyone.